All right. Hey there, everybody. Christopher Inks with Texas West Capital coming at you live here just a few minutes after 11 a.m. Central Standard Time here on Friday, the 9th of June, 2023. Hope you guys are doing all right out there. While you have a chance, man, make sure you guys are hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel that you're watching on, profile that you're watching from. We're simulcasting across a few different areas. Let me see here. Let me make sure this mic is still working. Let me see here. Well, you guys can tell me if the mic is working. I don't see anybody jumping up and saying they don't hear anything yet, so I assume it's working well. Who's here already? We've got Mark is here. What's up, man? Data's here. Nevlusian, Michael Otis, Spiral Architect, Tellurider. Mark says the mic is working. Fantastic. Sounds good. All right, guys. Great to have you in. So yeah. Man, what a day, right? So the S&P officially breaks out of the bear market yesterday, right? Now, I've seen here people argue time and time again, right? And I said, listen, the officially accepted definition of a bull market, right, is after you've had a substantial decline, then you have at least 2 months of at least 20% rally. And so now the S&P has rallied almost 25% now. About 7 months, maybe, something like that. So we are officially out of the bear market in the S&P, guys. And, so many of the people out there have given me such a hard time about this, right? For months and months and months now. You guys have seen it on here. People tend to be very emotional. And even now they're going to say, oh, no, I don't think it is. I still need to see this happening, right? But the reality of it is, if you're going to trade, guys, it's not on what you feel or what you think. It's what's going on, okay? Otherwise, you're just going to find yourself having a really, really difficult time with all this, right? So we're out of the bear market there. Bitcoin, as we know, has rallied, 100%. And even though it's pulled back, it's been kind of doing sideways, pulled back a little bit over the last few months. I mean, we're still in an uptrend, guys. We're still higher highs and higher lows in the big picture. Yes, locally we've pulled back on diminishing volume, overlapping price action, small candlestick. I mean, you guys, I can't do anything to convince you of something that you seem to believe, okay? A lot of times you guys get in here, you're like, well, convince me. I mean, that's basically what you say, online, whenever you talk to somebody. But the truth is nobody can convince you, all right? And so if they can't convince you, that means it's up to you. You have to decide if you're willing to be open-minded enough to allow new information in. And if you're not, I mean, that's on you. At the end of the day, guys, it doesn't bother me if you don't believe or not. That's on you. It affects your trading, not mine on how you believe. So I'm not out here to try and convince you. I'm out here to tell you, listen, this is the way we look at things. This is what we think is happening because of this, this, and this, and this. But ultimately, it's up to you to finally jump on board at some time, right? Andrew says the break of 4,300 on the S&P was solid. Yeah, it was a pretty good break there, right? So, so now we had the Dow that did it first, right? Basically, we were looking for a break above that mid-August swing high, right? The Dow did it first, and then Bitcoin did it, and then the S&P has done it now. And so looking for the NASDAQ to finish up as well. The dollar continues to decline, right? Overall, again, everybody been arguing for months and months and months now that, the dollar is going to go back up, and yet it's doing, what we expect it to do. I kind of have two positions, right? So my first position is that I'm a trader and investor myself. My other position is that of an educator, right? And so I'm out here trying to educate you, trying to help you understand. But again, I'm going back to what I said previously. That doesn't mean I'm here to convince you. I can't convince you guys. If you're looking for somebody to convince you of anything in life, it's not going to happen. You have to convince yourself. You have all anybody else can do is give you the information. That's it, guys. And you have to take responsibility for whether you take that information or not. Remember, I keep telling you, there is a time tax on ignorance. And now some people have, I've been saying that a bit lately, and a few people have gotten back, but they're pretty upset about that. I said that, right? They feel personally attacked. Well, I mean, deal with it, right? I'm not personally attacking you. They're like, oh, were you saying I'm ignorant? All of a sudden everybody gets all offended. But ignorance means not understanding, not knowing, right? It means lack of knowledge, right? Or lack of putting it into to effect, right? It doesn't mean, I mean, if you're going to get upset that I called you ignorant, then don't be ignorant, right? I mean, at the end of the day, that's kind of where we're at. Am I right? So that's kind of where we are with things. You know, again, guys, sometimes you come here and you say, okay, well, I want to learn to trade. I want to learn. I want to listen. I want to do all this. And then you don't. And then you get all upset. And then you get, you know, you feel like people are personally attacking you. And I'm telling you guys, you got to get out of that damn mindset if you want to get anywhere in life, whether it's trading or anything else. Okay? Who am I to talk about this? I'm a guy who's come from nothing to get where I'm at today. Not just in trading, with a whole bunch of other stuff, right? I mean, I've become successful in most things that I've done. So if you're not going to listen to me, it's when I say, listen, these are the things that you have to do. This is what you have to actually follow to become successful. Then what do you expect, guys? What do you expect? Okay. So we've got the S&P now. And by the way, this was the longest bear market the S&P has been in since 1948. That's a long time, guys. 1948. So let me see here. Let me kind of catch up with where I was with that information there. Let me see here. Yeah. So again, the most recent bear market, the one we just had here, was 248 trading days. You know, if you look at Dow Jones, right? The average bear market has lasted only 142 days. Okay. And like I said, this has been the longest one since 1948, I believe was. I think that was something like, I think it was 400 or 400 some change, the number of days. So, I mean, this is pretty significant, guys. If you've been a bear until now, I wouldn't say you just jump in right now and do it. I think we'll probably have a pullback coming on pretty quick here, right? But, I mean, you should be looking for a reason to enter now. You all the nonsense about, oh, I want to wait, you know, this, that. I think you need to give it up now. Okay. If not, you're going to continue to sit behind and you're going to continue to fall behind. Time tax on ignorance, right? What that means is, you know, you can choose to learn, and, you know, and maybe even, you know, you pay to have somebody get you there faster, right? Because if you do that, then that means that you can start making money faster, profits faster, which means you can have an exponential return over time, right? Or you can try to learn to do things on your own, which is, you know, a bit more difficult. You have to figure out what's the true information out there, you know, because you're going to look at free stuff. You have to figure out how it all works together, which means you're going to pick a lot of stuff that isn't really necessarily correct, or it's like a half truth, and you're going to have to deal with the time figuring that out. And, you know, and so maybe you learn, you know, 5 years down the road, maybe, right? But we know historically, we know that traders don't tend to do very well on their own. You know, again, the idea that, you know, 90+% of market participants are out the first 90 days. So, you know, I tell you this because I went through the same thing, right? Except I stayed in longer and fed even more money in. But, you know, when I finally decided to get serious about it and learn and start, you know, getting people to teach me, but then you have to be coachable, right? Are you coachable, guys? Are you really coachable? Are you really? And what does that mean? That means you're willing to listen. You want to listen. You want to take in new information. You understand that you're probably incorrect in the way you've been thinking, and that's why you haven't been successful. And you're willing to put forth the effort, right? Focus, discipline, consistency. We had a great post here just recently, guys. So, you know, I run a mentor program, right? We're about to relaunch it like some really crazy. It's going to be amazing. You guys watch for that, man. But anyway, one of our members here, let me see here, just wrote this just amazing post today. If he's listening in, Mav, man, just absolutely fantastic here. And I've told you about a few of our mentor students lately, right? Like Bamboo's done really exceptionally well. And, you know, and so Mav's here now, and Mav's talking about how he had a 62.5% win rate last week. And then he went into a lot of really deep stuff about, you know, learning and about the emotions he's going through and about the things he's understanding about himself by following through and doing the things he has to do. And he was gracious enough to post this for the rest of the mentor students to also read and to go over, so they could hopefully, understand maybe better where they're at and where they're looking to go and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. Real talk. Who is so successful at trading but doing a YouTube videos to 7,000 following? See, you got idiots like that. Idiots. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's an idiot, right? He doesn't need to be here. I mean, clearly he knows better, right? I haven't heard this in a while. I haven't heard this nonsense in a while. But I'm here doing this because I enjoy helping people. I'm here doing this because I have a company. Because just sitting around trading doesn't take up enough of my time. I have a drive to do it, to help, to create something. If you can't understand that, man, you're having a terrible time in the world. I mean, isn't it sad that people act like this, guys? Isn't it sad that they act like that? They can't even see. They're like, oh, if you're so successful, why would you do this? Well, if somebody's so successful with one business, why would they start another business? Elon Musk, if you're so successful at Tesla, why would you have, why would you have Twitter? Why would you have, all this other stuff, right? I mean, it's the dumbest comments like that. And, you see people like that and you've got to feel sorry for them, really. I mean, how sorry do you have to be in your life to actually not be able to sit down for 2 seconds and think about what you're about to post before you actually post it? And if you thought about that and that was still the conclusion you came to, then life is shortchanging you, man. Right? I think there's a lot of people here who get a lot from what I give out here. This is all free. You don't have to join us. We'd love for you to join us. We do exceptionally well, but hey, you don't have to. You can sit here and get all this for free, right? I should buy more followers. Yeah, no, not into that. Dan Physics, man, I appreciate you as well. But yeah, God, it's, before we get these charts, guys, I just want to use that is a perfect example of people who don't get anywhere in life, right? They kind of, their overall, their look at life is flawed. And so they end up upset at themselves, but they take it out on the world because they're not getting where they think they deserve to be, without actually putting in the work and the effort, right? And by the way, guys, I've told you this before. A lot of people fail because, and they work, they put in effort, but they don't put in the correct type of effort, right? If you want to be successful, it's not enough just to do something, though doing something is absolutely where you need to be, at least to get going. But then you have to do the right thing, and you have to do it correctly over and over and over again. So, if you find yourself in his position and you find yourself acting like that, take a step back, look at yourself, be honest with yourself. Why are you so angry at the world? What is it that you're not getting out of life that you think you deserve? And then look and go, am I really doing the things that I need to do to get there where I think I deserve to be? And if you're honest, you're going to find out you aren't. That's the hard truth. People don't like that kind of truth. It's a hard truth, guys. It's where it is, okay? It's not about, what'd you say there, Andrew? It's not about follower count. That's an issue too. Yeah, everybody thinks, oh, you have to have some big following. Guys, most of your troll or your cons out there, whatever, have huge followings. They don't actually know what they're doing, but they're selling you. They're selling you on their referral links. They're selling you on whatever else they're trying to sell you on. Yeah, people don't get that. But yeah. So anyway, but yeah, so, again, we're seeing more and more of our students here, our mentor students, really kind of, it's clicking, right? It's clicking about what they're doing, and it's changing the way that they're the kind of return they're getting, right? I mean, 62.5% win rate over the last week. That's pretty amazing. And still, he's looking at what is still bothering me? Where do I still need to work? What things do I still need to do? And that's absolutely fantastic. So if you're in the mentor program, you haven't looked at that yet, go into the LMT chat channel, check that post out, man. It's absolute gold. Of course, Bamboo's been posting as well. So, again, the good things about these are they continue to say the same things that I focus on with you guys, and just definitely worth watching. So let's go ahead and jump here, guys, and see where we're at, right? Let's see. Let me probably put this down right here. Yeah, a little bit better there. All right. So what's going on here? So this is the, again, not the DXY. This is the dollar futures chart on the ICE exchange, okay? That's what this is. This is kind of the count I'm looking at here, right? And you can notice that you've got this, we broke down finally below that low there right now. The big thing is we want to get below this daily pivot. If we can, it looks like we're done here. That wave 2 is done. Wave 3's got a minimum expected target down here at 95.8. But right now we need to get through that daily pivot there. If we can do that, that sets up that further move down. We're looking good. If we break out above wave 2 here, we might go up into this 105.5 area, but it really kind of puts the pressure on this count. And in that case, if we break out above wave 2 here, that would just suggest maybe we got an ABC here, an ABC down instead of 5 down, and then working on 5 up here, which may get us up here around 107.1 or so. So nothing really upsetting or striking or difficult about all that. I think a lot of people tend to, they think longer term, like, oh my God, they're thinking about Bitcoin to all-time highs, and then they're focusing on the 15 or minute or the 1 hour chart. And that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, right? We can't do that, guys. You've got to be realistic. If you're talking about the larger time frame, if you're talking about the larger move, right? You absolutely have to look at the larger time frame charts. You can't look at the lower time frame charts and then go, oh my God, sky is falling on the hourly chart when you're thinking about the weekly, right? But that's what we tend to do. Okay. So you want to keep your mindset. You want to make sure that you're paying attention to where your mind is, right? You got to make sure that if you're focusing on the weekly, that you're staying on the weekly. You're not letting what's going on the hourly chart affect what you're thinking about the weekly. Okay. And we'll talk about that, why that's important here in a minute. Let's go ahead and jump over here. Let me see here. Where's my Bitcoin chart? Well, I've got this is the, what you call it here, the Bitcoin futures chart here, okay? The CME. And so right now, again, we had this great accumulation right here. This spring gave us this nice rally up. I told our people in Discord, that we were looking to pull back here. That's where we got. And then we kind of rallied up here. Now, the question is this 1 and 2 and ready on 3? Or is this maybe like a 1 and then maybe an A and we've got a B working out here and we'll have a C coming down? I think that's still possible because we're just kind of consolidating here. If we can break out above this swing high on the futures chart here, it's 26,955. Basically the high there on yesterday. If we can break out above that, that should suggest that we're done here. This is wave 2 is done here around the 61.8. And we're heading up, okay? But as long as we keep consolidating here, it's possible this is still wave B. And maybe it's like a A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C, right? So maybe it's like a triangle, A, B, C, D, which case we should get a little bit more up here and then a breakdown probably toward, I don't know, what is this here? Let me kind of see my thing here. I think it's 78.6. Yeah, right here, maybe around 25,800, 25,750 maybe, would probably be the target on that. If we actually go with the height of that, if that's a triangle there, the height on that gets us to 25,735 here on the CME. So yeah, if we get that, if we get this breakdown below this swing low, that's where I'd be looking, and then I'd be looking for a reason to long it from that area there. Genghis, what's up, man? You live on the weekly? Man, oh man. Dime, you're probably timed out. I don't know. Did somebody time you out? If they did, it's probably because you were being an well, I was going to say a word there. I shouldn't say idiot. Because you were being disrespectful and rude. That's why. I didn't time you out, but somebody else might have. And that's what you get, I guess, right? Act like a jerk, get timed out. But yeah, so again, if we get that break as we're looking at, but if we can break out above this, again, this kind of 26,955 here on the futures chart, if we can break out above that Thursday swing high, that should have us going up. And in that case, coming from the low here, Let's see here. I mean, that's got that's got you a wave 3 up here at 29,745 and wave 5 up here around 30,585, right? By the way, you'll notice, why does this look good? Because look at this, guys. This gives us 5 waves up right to the previous swing high, right? And usually it's what we look for, right? We look for 5 waves up, the first subwave of the rally to terminate around the swing high. Or if we were going the other way, around the swing low, right? So that's what, again, I mean, it seems to make a lot of sense if where we're at. Now, if we do come on down a little bit lower there toward that, one more push lower, I mean, it still gets us pretty close there. It gets us around 30,160. It still kind of gets us in this congestion right here and, right where this other previous resistance is. So, it would still be okay. So, I mean, that's really all it is, guys. That's really all you have to look for. Okay. If you break down lower here, you're looking down toward 25, 700, 25, 800 there. If we break out above Thursday's swing high right here, then we're looking up there again toward this previous swing high from back here in April. How much simpler is that, guys? I don't know that I can make that any more simple, right? That's really all you look at. Even if you don't understand yet about Elliott wave and whatnot, that's all you have to worry about, right? So what's going on, Diego? Good to see you, man. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of where we're sitting, guys. I mean, it is as simple as that. It's drop down below the swing low, pop out above the swing high. That's really all I'm looking at, because you don't have to look at anything else. Now, if we do kind of break on down below the swing low here, then we've got our other targets, But I mean, overall, I don't know. I kind of look at this weekly here. And, if we were to get a breakdown, this kind of 20,000 area right here, see where we got this gap on the CME, and then we got this large candle down here, followed by that large candle up. So, this kind of gap right here around 20,000, 20,500 would be a good target. But ultimately, guys, this is inverted head and shoulders, right? We've retested that neckline as support, right? Heading back up. Look at where we've retested, guys, on the weekly. It was this previous swing low from May, this swing high from August, this swing high from February, and then now the swing low. I mean, it's coming right there exactly. And look, there's a gap right here, back here in December of 20. This is the area that you expect to see a rally off of. And overall, on the weekly, you can see that we're still holding support at the weekly pivot. Overlapping price action, I mean, everything's screaming that it should go up higher. I can't convince you if you don't want to listen and pay attention, if you're just really stuck on what you think. But until it shows me something different, it's absolutely ridiculous to even, be looking for that much further down or anything like that. Does that make sense, guys? A lot of times, you'll get in here as traders and you get really emotional. And again, a lot of times, I've been talking about this lately through our social media posts and whatnot, and on here, your frustration, your fear comes because you don't understand. You don't know why price moves the way it does. I can sit here and tell you all day, but you haven't been in the market long enough or been through enough market cycles to see this happening again and again and again, right? So I've been watching this same thing happening for 30 years almost across multiple markets, stocks, metals, precious metals, multiple futures, FX, crypto, right? It's the same thing over and over and over again, guys. That's why I have, when I say, listen, it looks like we're probably in distribution or accumulation. That's why, especially on those large time frames, that's why I have so much conviction when I say that. Now, it doesn't mean that if something different were to happen, that I wouldn't change my mind. Again, I'm always open to new information coming in. But markets tend to work in a specific way. People tend to act and react in certain ways. And you get used to seeing it once you've been through multiple cycles, especially if you've been through multiple markets where you see that it's the same thing, just different people, right? Let's see here. Ryan says, price is traded. What'd you say? Price is traded pretty cleanly, especially on the weekly. Crypto Twitter acting like the apocalypse is here. Yeah, again, I think it's the whole thing about they're thinking about the longer term, like the all-time high and the low in November. But they're looking at like the daily or the hourly or the 4-hour chart, 15-minute chart, stuff like that. And that's what I was talking about earlier. You know, you can't look at those shorter term charts and have those larger term expectations. You know, you can't look at the shorter term charts to support your larger term ideas or whatever you think is going on. Does that make sense? So I think definitely something to, to pay attention to there, right? Again, no guarantees that it's correct, what I've said and whatnot, but man, this thing's been holding up. We've been making money since last November, right? Been making money since last November here in Bitcoin, right? And other people continue arguing about it, losing money, trying to short the entire way, losing money, not actually entering. Remember, time tax on ignorance. You've missed out now on 100% rally and 6 months, right? That's when you look at, if you're looking at the entirety of, say, a Bitcoin bull cycle, you've missed a point at which it could exponentially increase your returns by the end of the bull market. But you missed that because you argue about, oh, the bottom isn't in. Oh, it's got to go lower. Oh, this is just a bear market rally. Okay, Chris, yeah, it's gone up 100%. It's still a bear market rally. Okay, Chris, yeah, it's been going up higher highs and higher lows, 4 to 6 months here, but it's still a bear market rally. Again, you can't, nobody can convince you otherwise if that's your emotional take on it. Does that make sense? And I don't say this to make you feel bad or to put you out of sorts or whatever, but just that you hopefully are listening and paying attention so that you can be more cognizant of what you're doing to yourself. Okay? Because at the end of the day, it's all about you. Your trading is all about you. I'm just here to hopefully help you see it in a way that enables you to make better profits. Does that make sense? Let me see here. So, I mean, that's kind of what we're going at here. So, again, pop out above that Thursday swing high. We should be heading up toward 30,000. Drop down below this, what is this? This Wednesday swing low. And we're probably coming down here around, 25,000, 25 to 26,000 area down here. Just this previous area, okay? So, I mean, but either way, it's still this still becomes the bottom here, right? In either kind of circumstance there, right? Let me see here. Hank says, well, we've given almost 50% back so people can make new entries, but they won't. That's the problem. That's exactly my point. They won't. They'll continue to argue because now they're scared. Now they're still emotional, and now their emotions they feel like are like, oh my God, yeah, I'm right. It is going to go back down lower, so I can't get in here. And it's going to take off and go higher again, right? Even if it gets down to 20, whatever we said here, what was this, 25 or whatever, right? Even if you're getting down there and there's that entry there, they're going to rally up, right? And then it's 30,000, then it's 35, then it's 40, right? And they're still not going to enter. This is the same thing. This is the market psychology. This is the trader psychology. This is what happens every single time. Every market, guys. You're not special in crypto. You are the same person in this market. Your doppelganger is sitting in equities, is sitting in FX, is sitting in futures, is sitting in precious metals. It's the same person over and over and over again. Because human beings tend to act and react the same way, which is why Wyckoff and Elliott Wave work so well. That's why they work so well, because you, as people, as human beings, tend to do the same thing over and over and over again. Does that make sense? Oh, Hank says that was sarcasm, about 50% pullback. But yeah, and maybe you don't agree, guys. Maybe you don't get it this time around. That's okay. All right? That's okay. As long as you keep coming back and you try and have an open mind, there's a good chance for you as a trader. It really is. But if you come in like dime and you say stupid things and you act the fool, I mean, that says everything anybody really needs to understand about you and your view on life. And none of that of what you've shown says that you're going to be a profitable trader or be really successful at much of anything, honestly, because your view of life is so skewed. Okay. So, I mean, again, you're no different in crypto than people are in equities and precious metals and futures and oil and, whatever else. The markets, people are all the same. People are the same. If you can understand that and then understand there's a way to understand them, and then understand there's a way to understand them, then you're going to be all right. I'll tell you, okay? Now, I had talked about coin. Was it earlier this week? Yeah, I guess maybe on Tuesday's show. And I said, man, looks like we're probably going to fill in that gap. So if we popped up in the gap, we'd probably fill it in. There we go, guys. We filled in the gap. So we got that. Now we just want to see, do we get a pullback and then break out higher? That's what we have to see now. Really, ultimately, you need to be above wave B here, right? So the idea is we've got an A, or we got a 1, and then an A, a B, and a C as a flat here, expanded flat. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here as an ending diagonal. I mean, so it suggests to me that the bottom is probably in for coin, but we need to see that confirmation, right? Okay. Always that. Hank says there's always two people in a trade. Always wonder, am I sure I am the smart one? I don't necessarily agree with that. Because, if somebody, just because they're selling doesn't mean they're wrong if price rallies further. If they had if they're a proper trader, right? They had a trading plan, they had an exit, they hit their exit and they get out. That's not dumb, right? And if you get in because you see an entry here that could lead higher and it goes higher, well, then you're not dumb either, right? I think too many people get stuck on this idea that that trading is a zero-sum game, and it's not. Absolutely not. It can be a lot of times for retail traders that just come in and don't know what they're doing. But as long as you've got a trading plan and you're following that trading plan, everybody can win in a trade. Both people can win. And the selling and buying continue on can continue to win, right? So, I mean, yeah. I mean, just because price continues to go up after you get out doesn't mean you're an idiot for getting out. If you're following your trading plan, if you're locking in profits, you're not dumb, right? You're not a loser, right? You've done what you expect to do. You did what your trading plan was. So, yeah. But, yeah, again, I think people tend to really get stuck on that whole, because I still continue to hear it today. Everybody's on that. And I'm not saying Hank's saying that right now, but people just tend to believe that it's a zero-sum game, and you'll see them say as much. Don't believe that. Okay? That's just people, that, again, have a warped view on the way that things really work. So, yeah. So, I mean, coin, I'm going to look for a pullback here that can take us higher. You can see right here on the daily, we are, crossing bullishly after being down and oversold here on Stochk RSI. And even if it continues to pull back, maybe down toward, $40, $49 or so, maybe even toward there, you could just get this RSI, this daily RSI, to drop into oversold and, be ready to go, right? What's important about this is notice all this volume right here. And this was that drop. You gapped down and then fired back up, right? Big movement here for this candle. Low of 46.43, high of 52.38. So that's a 15% swing high off the swing low, a 15% rally on that day. So, when you're looking at this, you got volume coming in right here. And then again, right here, as you get toward the top, right, and it pulls back, you got some volume showing up here at the bottom. It rallies up again, and you get more volume, albeit a little bit less here, right? Coming in here, drops it down. Again, volume picks up, gap up here, right? But then look what happens here. That volume at the bottom jumps up significantly. And the only way this happens, guys, the only way you get volume like this is because your bigger players are down there soaking up everything that retail's selling into them. Does that make sense? Think about that, guys. The only reason you see these volume spikes, these are because it's concentrated volume. It's concentrated at the lows. It's concentrated acceptance of that, of just soaking that up, right? At the top, it's concentrated deluge, right? Concentrated drop of supply. And the only people that have that kind of ability are your big players. This is why understanding Wyckoff is so important, because the one thing that your big players can't do is hide their footprints, their volume, and that's shown in volume and price action. Again, if you are a simple price action trader, you are so significantly behind. You may think it's all great and dandy, but imagine how much better you would be if you actually understood that volume component properly, right? Anyway, so we've got this now here. Again, looking for it to potentially continue up here. Let me see. What else do we got here? We have the VIX. Again, we've been talking about the VIX and how while it remains under 16, usually we see continued rally, right? That's what we're getting here. Obviously, we're seeing, this is the daily, we're seeing a bit of a potentially doji up here, right? Right above. Remember, this is that mid-August swing high, right? So we've broken out above that. That's what we needed to do. That's the one thing we've been talking about for months and months and months. Basically across anything, right? Like I said, the Dow was the first to do it earlier this year, I think right around end of January, early February. And then, of course, Bitcoin did it. And then, we've been waiting for the S&P and the NASDAQ to do it as well. But that mid-August swing high is that point at which you go, okay, well, here's an A, a B, and a C. And so if we're breaking out, that means this third wave can't break down any further, right? So that locks this in as three waves. Now, again, that we could still have a triangle. This could be A, B, C, D, E, and then breakout. This could be a flat. A, B up here toward the all-time high, and then C back down toward the low, right? Heck, it could be a ABC as a W, ABC as an X, and ABC as a Y, and get a little bit lower and then break out. So there's still possibilities. But overall, if you haven't been long since that swing low and you've continued to argue about it for 6+ months, you're just not doing it right, guys. You can be thinking that the rally isn't going to last, but you still want to get in on that rally, right? Because if not, here you are 6+ months later, and you're sucking wind, right? You're having a tough time because it's not doing what you've been thinking it's going to do. So you've been very emotionally set for over half a year. That's a lot of money, a lot of potential opportunity lost there, right? So yeah, we'll kind of look at this as it continues to go there. BNB is interesting here because, again, when I talk about it, everybody's like all scared about what's going on with Binance, and probably should be. Binance is a different lawsuit than what the SEC is, okay? Binance, according to what the SEC says they did, it looks a lot like FTX, right? But, again, guys, when it comes to these things, one, you have to, it has to have happened. Well, it doesn't even have to have happened. The SEC just has to prove to the extent required by law that it's likely that it happened, right? If they can't do that, then what? If they can't do it, then Binance gets away with it if Binance has done anything, right? I don't know what Binance has done or hasn't done. I can't use it. I'm a U.S. citizen, right? But if I look here, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ABC, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, it looks like a 1, 2, 1, 2 here, right? Or maybe even like, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so it could be a 1, ABC, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is a flat here, right? So just for those of you kind of wondering what I'm talking about here, count-wise, we're looking at something like this. I'm going to take this down a bit. This is the weekly chart, by the way, guys, okay? And then, again, maybe something like this, right? And let me kind of take that down a couple. Take this one up here. Okay, and then let's see, we have this one here, right? So some things need to happen here to kind of confirm this, right? But this is the way, that I think it looks like it may be working out here. Let me get this ABC here again. So A, B, C. Okay. So this would be an expanded flat, right? So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ABC, ABC, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Capitulation down at the lows here at the bottom. That pullback is right here at about 70.5. I mean, it's institutional level right there. So what are we looking at? So realistically, if this is the count, we need a breakout above wave B here. So that's that 350 area. If we can get that, that suggests we're on. I mean, if this count is correct, we should be, right? Because again, you just need a breakout above wave B, and we've got that here, right? So we've got that breakout above wave B. So I mean, if I'm looking at this, as long as this count is correct, I mean, this looks this looks pretty significantly like an ABC here, right? Again, going through all this, right? You look here and go, well, again, same kind of idea of a flat here, right? A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see, and so on this bigger count, we'd have to break out above this wave B up here at 669.30. Now, you're going to get a lot of emotional response to this. Oh no, they're going down. The SEC said this, this, and that. Guys, listen, complaints, which is what that is that the SEC drew up, right? It's called a complaint. And complaints, I mean, there's a requirement that they're well-formed. It was well-formed. But when you're that person, right? When you're that agency and you go in and you say, listen, this is what's going on, you have to make that as compelling as possible. A lot of times you don't have all the evidence that you need, right? You're going to hope to get that in discovery, okay, which happens after the whole thing gets going, okay? So yeah, they always sound really good. They always sound like, oh my God, this person definitely broke the law. But until the court finds the person or the company guilty of doing so, they may not have, right? The SEC may just be drawing kind of conclusions from things that they think may be happening. They're hoping to get the evidence they need, the real evidence they need, that really connects it through discovery, right? That's how this works, guys. So yes, it sounds really compelling what the SEC says. And I wouldn't be surprised, I've been kind of on the, the side there against, Binance for a while now, right? I've warned, to kind of just watch them, what's going on, because if what was going on with FTX, it's potentially something similar going on with Binance, right? I've talked to you guys about how companies that are the apex of their industries rarely have done so by being squeaky clean. They often are in the gray areas. Okay, this is just the way it works. So don't assume that just because the SEC said this is what's happened, that that's actually what happened. Second, don't assume that even if it is what happened, that the SEC can prove it to the extent required by law. Okay, because if they can't, then it doesn't. The Binance and CZ and whatever are found not guilty of those particular things, right? But again, people are going to be very emotional. Go, oh no, BNB's dead forever. But I don't know. For me, the count suggests that there's a very good likelihood that we could see this breakout. But we need the breakout, though. We need the confirmation. I talk to you guys about validation and invalidation levels all the time. That's why Elliott Wave is so helpful, because it gives you immediate validation levels. If this is going to be right, then breaking out above wave B confirms it, right? If you don't break out above wave B, it may turn into something else, right? But, you got a 70.5 retracement there. The weekly RSI is almost oversold. So, I mean, you can continue to come down further, right? By the way, the invalidation levels, the drop down below this swing low right here at $220. If you drop below that, this count is invalidated, right? But if we break out above wave B, then there's a good chance this is correct and we look up higher, right? But that doesn't mean it can't come down to the 78.6 or even, let's see here. Or even, what is that? Right around the 90% here, around 232.5. It could still do that. as long as it doesn't break down below this swing low and instead breaks out above this wave B, we should be looking for higher, right? And if the rest of this count is correct, then at least right in this area, wave 3, 1, 2, 3 should be in progress here, right? Because we broke out above wave B. And once you get above this wave B, this larger count will be in progress, right? And I don't care about your emotions. The market doesn't care about your emotions and your reasoning and what you think has to happen. None of that is relevant for price action. All that matters is what actually happens, guys. Does that make sense? Let's see here. Do you have canaries in crypto coins that tend to signal moves before others? I don't tend to worry a whole lot about it. I mean, we started doing that back in 2017, 18. We had things like Dash and XMR and stuff like that would make moves before other things made moves. But, I don't really tend to, I think you put too much effort into it if you're looking at that, right? I just look at the charts. What's going on with the charts, right? More so. Let me see here. So that's kind of what we're looking at here. Again, I'm not here to tell you that it's definitely not going to go lower, but I'm here to say, listen, this is what the count looks like. And here's your validation and invalidation levels, right? If we were to rally right from here at the 70.5, that would give us a wave circle 3 target up here at around 445.80, right? If we're going down to 78.6, it'll be a lower target. But overall, this is part of this other wave 3, right? So if this count is correct, then wave parentheses 3 has a target up here. A minimum expected wave 3 target up here at 565 and 5 up here at 646. Now look where the 646 gets you. Right up here at the previous swing high. Again, we generally look for our first subwave, right? 5 waves up to terminate around the swing high. Or if we're going the other direction, around the swing low. Okay? So, I mean, there you go, right? If you're looking for, what you're looking for, I mean, this wave 5, if this wave 3 overextends a little bit, this wave circle 3, it'll get you this wave 3 up here at 565. It's just a bit higher, right? About $40 higher, $45 higher off of wave 5 here, something like that. $70 higher, I guess. Yeah, so wave 3 can overextend, and that'll pull wave 5 up to wave 3 here. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to go ahead and just change this up a notch here, up a degree, because it looks like that's what's going to happen. It looks like wave 3 is probably going to overextend maybe to wave 5 area, and then wave 5 will overextend up here to the wave 3, which gives you your wave 5 again up here at 646, right? 646.60. I mean, so ultimately, it's kind of where you're looking for it, right? And again, in terms of Elliott wave, this is the look. Elliott wave's all about the look. This is the look that we generally are looking for, right? Does that make sense, guys? Doesn't mean go buy it, but it means that, listen, if you're just being, oh my God, because of what the SEC said, and I just, think that Binance is going to die off and whatever, then, you expect it to fall further from that. Well, okay. But I'm showing you right now that may not happen. It may not happen. But we need the validation. We need the breakout above wave B here. Wave circle B, okay? We've been talking about XRP a bit. Again, my thought here, looking for this rally on the weekly here up to the R1 pivot area, right around 74 cents or so. Pull back maybe to around 55, 56 cents here, right above the pivot. And rallying up higher there at least to, 79, 80 cents at least. And then we got targets of 91 cents and $1.03 basically up there as well, as this continues to kind of, do its thing there. But we have room on Stochk RSI and RSI. Neither one is broken into overbought yet. And right now, it looks like, this weekly pivot is trying to hold support on this weekly candle right now. So, yeah, I mean, it's not looking terrible. I don't hate it, that's for sure. What else do we have here? Somebody's mentioning Litecoin against Bitcoin, I think. Right now we've got Litecoin against Bitcoin kind of do what we expected, right? Kind of pulling back from the R1 pivot down to the pivot, which it did, and then looking for it to rally up higher now. I mean, we're getting a bullish cross on the weekly or on the daily Stochh RSI there. Let me see here on the weekly. The weekly is getting up there, though. I think we could see, again, a push up into maybe this 0038 kind of area, and then a pullback, and then a breakout, right? Potentially. Overall, it looks like there may be a leading diagonal heading up here to around 00719. It looks like there may be, but we need this kind of breakout here, and of course above wave X up here at 00413 to kind of confirm that, to get that going. Now it doesn't have to go quite that high. It can, it can stop anywhere just beyond the wave 3. Don't forget, guys, if it's a diagonal, a leading or an ending diagonal in Elliott wave, it can't truncate. You're not going to get a truncated fifth. The fifth wave has to extend beyond the third wave. Okay? In a normal impulsive rally or decline or whatever, you might very, very occasionally find a truncated fifth wave, so it terminates prior to where wave 3 terminated. But even in that, it usually has to be right up there, real close to it. You're not expecting like some, it's 10% below wave 3, and that's, that isn't how it works. But yeah, if it's a diagonal, like we're looking at here, potentially a leading diagonal, then it has to extend beyond. It has to get beyond wave 3 here. So generically, I would watch that weekly R1 pivot if we get that right around 0055 kind of area, 0056, and then look up there toward that target on that. But ultimately, with this resistance kind of coming down here, this long-term resistance here, generally I would expect wave 1 up, so 5 waves up toward this resistance, pull back for 2, and then 3 is a breakout of it. Because wave 3s are the ones that break through your significant resistance areas. Okay? Let me see here. So yeah, just kind of looking at that. The other possibility is that this is an ABC here. We'll come down lower. So if we were to break down below this swing low here, this wave 2 swing low at 002362, right around that weekly S1 pivot, if we were to drop down below that, that would invalidate this 5 waves up. As long as we remain above that and we continue up here through that wave X at 0.004827, as long as we get above that, that suggests this is potentially correct here. And we'd look for that move up toward, again, this kind of resistance, generally speaking, this longer term resistance to finish out that first wave. Let me see here. What else we got? Well, we got USDT. We looked at that recently. And so, again, against what you call here, the BLX, right? Bitcoin Liquid Index. And so, again, what do you see here? You see 1, 2, 3, and then you've got ABC up, ABC down, and 1, 2, 3, 4, slightly higher high, which is what we talked about was likely to happen, right? So this gives us a flat here. So it looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4 is a flat, right? Could pop a little bit more. And then we should see it dropping down for a fifth wave. So your USDT dominance dropping off as we get down below here, heading down toward that 5.62. Let me see, is that 5.62 area? Well, 5.25 potentially, which would just get you basically, it gets you right here at where you would expect the weekly S1 pivot, the ascending support. And so then you get the drop there, and then you look for the rally back up to the weekly pivot probably, and then the breakdown through that. So if we're going to see this kind of fall off, the USDT dominance fall off, then we expect Bitcoin dominance to potentially continue up a bit more, right? And that's what we've got here with this huge bullish engulfing candle off the weekly R1 pivot right there with the daily S1 pivot area, breaking out above the, I've got this kind of a little bit higher here. It moves around on us. It's a trading view. Right there above the daily pivot, pull back, retest the daily pivot as support, trying to break out higher. To me, it looks like maybe we got an A, B, C, D, and then E here. So wave 4 triangle. And based on the height of that triangle, you get a target up here about 50.32. Now, again, we're pretty close to that R5. So if this were to happen, say, this month, I would expect potentially a push all the way through the R5, which would get us up there beyond 51% dominance on Bitcoin there. So, everything kind of coming in together, right? Whether you look at the Bitcoin dominance or the USDT dominance, right? Let's jump over to NVIDIA, guys. Look at this. Again, I told you I wouldn't be quick to short this area, right? You've got a strong uptrend, which just became stronger here with the gap up. You can see right here that the daily is just now breaking down into oversold on Stochh RSI. There's a lot of overlapping price action here, right? It looks like potentially an ABC here, right? Right into this demand in this wick here. Stays above the daily pivot. If we can pop out above $400.50 there, I mean, I think it gives us a target up here at the R1 pivot on the daily, right around $441. Now that's pretty close to 450, so you could potentially see it even overextending to 450, but it looks like it may not be done yet. But again, validation levels, right? You need that breakout above this $405 to say, okay, maybe that might be what's going on, because that just locks this in as 3 waves down. Now, that doesn't mean you can't have a triangle, or you can't have a flat correction and then go up, but it would mean that, 3 waves down, it's likely done with the pullback heading up. But as long as we're making a lower high here and then we make another lower low, then it becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then it's a leading diagonal. Unless, of course, it's ABC down, ABC up, and then ending diagonal here. Actually, it's probably what it looked like is this ABCs for wave C. And we'd probably, get near this swing low here at 368, right? So it does either this thing where it breaks out above that and heads up here, or potentially it does this thing and then kind of same target area. So you just got to see. Are you going to get above your validation level here? Oh my gosh, it's yellow. Let's change that. Are you going to get above your validation level there? Or are you going to come on down here toward this kind of swing low and then rally back up? But I think either way, it looks more likely that we've got up rather than down still to go, in the grand scheme of things. But it still has to do it. You still need that breakout, right? Hank says if NVIDIA brings 412 again, he says 500. Yeah, my targets are simple. They're based on the pullback, on the structure, right? So basically it's 446 and a half based on where we are here. If we were to get it all the way down, if it was to pull down to this support here, closer to 450. So, yeah. Now, yeah, again, it is 450. I mean, you're pretty close to 500, so you could see some insane just like straight up, and then I think you'd probably have a blow off top into that 500 then if that was the case, and then you'd have that nice wick at the top and a big move down, I think. Right? That's what I think would happen if we were to do that. Because that 500 will get you right up here around the R2, which is just the 200, the 2.618 extension of this if we were to pull all the way back down here, get it up there. Gosh, I think it's just about it. Pfizer is interesting. You can see that if we zoom out here to this, the weekly, I guess. See, we've got this strong ascending channel here. And we dropped down below it here in January, hit the weekly S2 pivot, rallied up into now the S1 pivot on the weekly, and the channel support as resistance. We are topped out and overbought. We do have room still here on the RSI, but not overly excited about what I'm seeing there. You know, I think you maybe look like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maybe. And this would be an ABC up. But, you know, then we would generally expect it to kind of target up here that wave 4 area. Right now it's just, you know, it looks like just 1, 2, 3 here, ABC. So, you know, if we can break out higher here, you know, I would look for probably maybe 44.86 kind of area. But I don't know that I'm overly excited about that particular chart. So, you know, let's see if we jump out of the monthly. The monthly's a little bit more interesting. This isn't a bullish engulfing. Obviously, it's an inside bar. You can see the candle spread is within the candle spread of the previous one here. So we gapped up to open on the monthly and then closed below, even though we kind of rallied up to close below. But you can see there's quite a bit of room still here on the Stochastic RSI and RSI. Volume remains pretty low down here at the bottom, so there's no real push, right? See how this draws down? Look at how volume falls off as you're declining, right? That doesn't give you a lot of confidence in the idea that it's kind of heading down there, right? I mean, if we look at this, we can maybe go, okay, well, maybe this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C here, right? So this December swing high becomes where you want to see the breakout. If you can get above that, I think that opens up at least a target up here at 59.40 kind of area, at least challenge that swing high. Starts looking more like an ABC down, right? You can see right here where it stopped on Pfizer here is right there, where you had your resistance, support, took that big old wick right back up. We came back to it now. So yeah, I mean, on this much larger time frame, it looks like it is something that could potentially rally on up there. So I don't know if you guys are into Pfizer, but yeah. Let me see here. Hank likes PLTR on the weekly, except I think he says he's looking at a retrace. Let me do this. Oh, well, let's look at Ethereum here real quick. Ethereum continues to hold above this support resistance kind of area right here at this low volume node, right around 17.5. Right now, the decline is an ABC. So it's just 3 waves down. So if we can break out above 2020, right there above that weekly pivot, we should be good to go higher. Again, R1 pivot's a good target to begin with, 3,100. You can see that, well, I can't do it here, but you can see that the 50 MA on the weekly dropped below the 200 and broke right back out above it. I warned y'all we had this potential stochastic RSI. Try again. Stochastic RSI crossover here back before the last week of May or so on this white candle here. And now it's just a pullback. So let's see if we can get some rally up there. Again, we would have a potential good rally coming in on that. Coinbase starting to get a little attention here as it found this support right around. By the way, notice on Coinbase here, notice you've got this long lower-legged doji here and go across here. Same thing right here. And you go across and you've got wicks. You got a wick that comes down to touch it here. You got a gap right here. You got a wick right here. You got a gap right here. This is a significant area, guys. You gapped up here just into it, gapped down through it. I mean, this kind of area right here is really significant, right around this 53 area. So if we can turn around and continue up from here, things look pretty all right for Coinbase for now, anyway. Let's see here. Make a copy. Said PLTR. Oops. Let's get it pulled up here. Let's see here. You said weekly. Look at daily. Ouch. That's not a daily candle you want to see there. Huge bearish engulfing coming back down here. Huge spike of volume at the top. I mean, just look at the daily. It looks like it's done. Weekly looks like it wants to be done. I'm not convinced. Nope. If I was to look at this, count this real quick, it looks like 1, 2, and then maybe like 1, 2, 4, 5, maybe. Let me see. Where is this? Almost the 2618. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This looks to me like it may just be a wave 3. Now, the other possibility is this is a 1, 2, 3, 4 with the gap and 5 up. And this small little pullback is actually that larger wave minuet there, right? But right now, this is what I would look for. I'd look for a pullback down toward 1220, 1340 area. And if you can get a reaction out of that, looking for an ABC down, you just want to cross above that B. And then you can look for potentially, a bit of a higher target there to finish it out. Maybe something like that. This will kind of get us right into this area here, right? So, you're retesting it as support, break out, and then pull back to it again and head out. I mean, this is generally the type of thing we expect to happen. See here. It's going to maybe be a little bit less. Right there around 1940 or so to 2015, something like that. And that'll just take us. If I can get this here. Well, we can do it this way. Can't even get that in. Let's see, about 1930. Right about there. So, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. So I would probably look for this kind of pullback down into here and see if we can, if we can do this in 3 waves, then I'm looking for a breakout above that, A, B, C, that B, to kind of get us up here at least on that. So yeah. Well, this would only be an island. Well, it's not even an island reversal. There's no island here. You have to have no overlapping candles for an island. You can't have wicks on wicks. It has to be like white space. And it has to be white space jump up, gap up, and gap back down over the same gap to be an island reversal. So right now, it's not. It's this wick down into this wick here. So there's no gap. Like open air gap. That's what you're looking for. So yeah, it looks like we'll probably get a pullback here. Makes sense to kind of this, because then what happens is when you get your 5th wave up here, right? You see how your 50% pulls you back? Remember, your wave 2 should generally expect to pull back to your wave 4 most of the time, of the lesser degree. And it's usually around 50%. And that's exactly what we're seeing here, right? If we get this pullback here and rally up and then pull back for wave 2, and then you're heading out, right? So, I mean, that's just, normally what we would expect to do. And this, of course, aligns with the idea that we're not in a bear market anymore, right? Now, look at this. You get your 3 right here at around 35. If this works out like this, right? And you get your 5 up here at around $40, which is where? It's right into this supply right here. See if I can do this. So you've got all this untapped supply in this wick up here, right? And you're hitting that. You're hitting right there at the bottom of that. Yeah, I mean, that looks great for me. And then, you'll pull back wave 2 over here. again, right into all this consolidation here that you finally, you broke out, you came back, retested, back up, come back to it again. Same thing we're looking to do right here. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of potential on that. 1350, Hank, you said that's your target area. Yeah, I mean, that gets you right there around that 50%, almost at 50%, just right below it. So it gets you right, well, I'm sorry, 1350, a little bit below that is a 38.2. Yeah, so I mean, it makes a lot of sense. It's right here around where you got this, slight gap up, and then, the wicks kind of overlap each other right there, right here at the top of this area. So yeah, I mean, getting back there, yeah, exactly. We look for that pullback there. I think it's got a lot of potential on that. Is that AI or is that AL? I can't tell, Hank. I'll look it up if you let me know which one it is. Because again, I can't tell if it's an uppercase I or a lowercase L. We'll see if Hank's paying attention and lets me know. I, okay. Appreciate the help there, man. I thought that's what it was, but again, didn't want to assume, right? So this is who you're looking at here, C3. Let me see here. And what are you looking at? Oh, you didn't tell me what time frame you were looking at. I mean, yeah, the daily, we're resetting down and oversold. We do have a lot of volume coming off that top, but we've only pulled back to this previous area of support. And so it would be expected that we'd break out higher. And if we do, that should be a good move up, right? Because again, structurally, that's where you're at. And you're rallying back off, filling that gap there. So if you can get a rally and a breakout here, that looks good at that point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. ABC. That pullback was just beyond 70.5. Look at that right there at 70.5. Look at tweezer bottoms down there, right with this the demand sitting right here. Man, that's a great level. Look at that. Came in right off of, if we keep looking left there. Look at that. Absolutely fantastic place. I expect that to be the bottom there. And look at your volume, guys. Look at how the volume was so low all the way down, 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 down until we get to the bottom here, and boom. All of a sudden that volume really starts flowing in, right? This is what you want to see when there's a bottom, right? You've got a good diagonal breakout here. Large candle spread, large volume. You see even the spike on this you got just a regular one right there, and then boom, right after that. Starts kicking up, right? Bam, 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 bam. So, I mean, if I'm looking at this, I'm thinking this is probably 1, 2 right here. Overall, larger time frame here. Probably up there around 56.42. Minimally, right? Does that mean this still, maybe this is like wave 4 of 3 here? You can see that if it is 52, so almost at that 56 area. Zoom in a 3-day here. See if we can see a little bit better. Zoom in the daily. Yeah, I mean, if I look at this, it looks like 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gives us 3, 4. 1, 2, maybe 3, 4. Looking for 5. Here it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll get a 5 up. We'll get a pullback, and that'll get us a 1, 2, then 3, 4, 5. So yeah, I think we're probably, I mean, it looks like we're probably heading overall up toward this 56.42 area. 5 has an initial target, right there around 65.80, which gets us right into this supply up here. Right there in that wick, right about that area. You expect a rejection on that because it's untouched, right? It's never been violated there. Yeah, I mean, I think that looks like a pretty good chart overall. It does look good, Hank. Yes, yes. So definitely, yeah. Oh, I think I'd probably do it, guys. I think it's probably enough to look at today. You can join us there at texaswest.capital. We'd love to have you there. If you guys haven't heard, hot takes are coming back. Those are our longer term, more long swing trades, multi-month swing trades, potentially year-plus investments. One of the greatest ones we did when we had them before was back in 2020, I believe it was. We had Naked NAKD there around 9 cents, and that thing eventually rallied up to $52. Absolutely insane rally. So still looking for, if we can find stuff like that. That obviously isn't an everyday thing, but that's amazing kind of trade to get into. But yeah, you can join us there at texaswest.capital. We'd absolutely love to have you there. We got those. We've got our normal daily updates and intraday updates and weekly updates for charts. We got chart requests, not just you, but you get to see what everybody else is requesting. But it's really just all about the education. 3 live streams a week right now. You'll have Wyckoff on Mondays, Elliott Wave on Thursdays, and Price Action on Wednesdays. So much to do, guys. So much to do, okay? So there it is. As always, remember, the only thing you control in the market is how much you lose. That's it. So if you want to, see, oh, by the way, I think something we're going to look to do is maybe get into a TWC portfolio where we'll start buying and selling openly there so that you guys know where our portfolio sits. I've seen a few other people do that, and I said, well, that sounds like a pretty neat idea. So we might jump on that as well. But all that, Oh, and Fiboswani's threshold theory sometime this month will be added into our tier 3, our elite tier membership. So you won't have to purchase that separately. It'll all be included in your weekly there. By the way, if you know of anybody who is Elliott Wave certified, CEWA, or maybe even Wyckoff, certified or otherwise been through training on that, send them my way. We're looking to start adding in some analysts with specific credentials like that this year. So, somebody wants to make some extra money, join in with us, okay? So there it is. I hope you guys have an absolutely amazing week. I hope that you don't enter a trade just because there's a chance. I hope that you're always looking for those higher confidence entries. Again, risk management is the most important thing you're going to do day in and day out as a trader every day, guys. That's it, okay? Don't come in acting the fool because, you know what? I might just go ahead and just kick you out. We don't need you. It's as simple as that. If you don't understand life, if you think, that your way you're living life is the right way and yet you're not where you want to be, you need to do some soul searching. Check it out, right? I'm going to be honest with you guys. That isn't to give you a hard time. It's because you need to hear it. Now, are you going to listen? Probably not. Most people don't. But again, you come in acting like the fool. Don't expect not to get banned. It's stupid. Life's too short. Always be open to learning. All right. Even me doing this for 30 years now, I still learn every day. Because the minute you stop learning, the minute you think you know it all is when you start falling behind, guys. Okay. Does that make sense? Does it need to be U.S. hours? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. We've got, people from all over the world. We got people from Switzerland and Sweden and Japan and Australia and the UK, South America, Mexico, Canada. Canadians are, US 2, right? US number 2, it seems like. But yeah, so yeah, not necessarily. Junior or senior what? I'm not sure what you're asking there. But what I am looking is for that, that certification with that. Because, again, guys, and by the way, you've got to be willing to use your real name, your real picture, stuff like that. Don't give me none of this. Well, the internet and people are weird and whatever. I don't care. We do what we do. We've always been transparent and open. Our real faces, our real names. because it's all about trust. How can you trust somebody that you don't even know if they're really who they are, right? So it's kind of you know, way we're looking at it. I'm not really, you know, they don't have to be a senior analyst. The main thing I'm looking for is that certification, those credentials that say, hey, listen, you know, I've gone through some sort of rigorous training, and, you know, it's verified that I have these skills. Yeah, we'll see it, you know, going from there. We're looking at some coaches. So basically it's just a few hours a week, pretty good pay. And that'll be dealing a lot with our mentor students. And then, of course, also looking into and maybe even with those coaches, maybe even bring them in as well as full-time analysts. So, yeah, just a lot of different opportunities we're looking to open up this year because we're really looking to expand. We're really looking to get out there because what we do is legit. You know, I've been proving it time and time again, guys. And we just want to be able to help people do that. So, all right. So there it is, guys. As always, like I said, remember, the only thing you control in the market is how much you lose. So keep that in mind at all times. We got the weekend coming up. Take some time away from trades. Get away from the charts every once in a while, guys. And other than that, I guess, yeah, I guess that'll do it, right? Our mentor students, we'll see you guys in about an hour for our Friday mentor session. Everybody else, I'll see you over in Discord or over online. Again, you can join us at texaswest.capital. I think probably the best decision you'll ever make when it comes to learning how to trade, all right? You guys take care.